Feel free to stop by. Feel free to come on in, check us out. One other thing to note, at the end of each program session, we have an art sale where the students are able to sell their artwork. So part of what they learned in the job skills training program is how to become entrepreneurs and promote their work, promote themselves, and they learn valuable skills along the way in the arts.
Thank you. Thanks, Sabrina, so much for that. And I think what really connects me to Artworks really is that the opportunities that it provides for the youth, and the fact that the space that it promotes is so engendering and so welcoming to the youth that it's such a safe and positive space for them, and they get the best out of their artistic expression from that. So I think
may I say something?
Sure.
I'm so thrilled that the St. Louis Artworks did a wonderful mural at Harris Stowe State University honoring the Negro Baseball Leagues, where they used to play at Star Field there. And people come by all up Market Street. They stop and look and compliment the artists. And I just want to say thank you, Marina and you, Jimmy Calmes, and everybody else at St. Louis Artworks for that wonderful event that you did.
Thank you. We thank Harris Stowe and Great Rivers Greenway for the opportunity. A lot of what we do in the apprenticeship is a lot of community art projects. So the students' work can be seen on a grand scale throughout the city of St. Louis. So that's another confidence booster for these young artists here at St. Louis Artworks.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Thank you.
That's great. Thanks so much for sharing that. And yeah, really just wanted to feature that as we look at starting your nonprofit. And again, once you actually start your nonprofit, some of the things you can do to actually increase the capacity of your nonprofit. So again, welcoming those anniversaries and having those annual funds and those events, and even partnering with like-minded or various nonprofits whose mission is similar to your own nonprofit. Really quickly here, just wanted to go over some things. Now in this meetup, again, we're going to look at some ways in which you should start your nonprofit, and as well as increase the capacity of your nonprofit here. Okay, so in looking at that, one of the first things you do want to look at, again, is your mission, who you are actually intending to serve. And really, when you are starting your nonprofit, you really want to treat it as a professional business, as an actual business, and not just a loosely formed operation or something side hobby. It will actually be a actual business. So again, these are just some things you want to start thinking about: the areas, your mission, and your purpose. Again, do that purpose align with your personal mission? And again, when you're looking at your purpose, forming your board and different things like that, and moving into your legal structure, again, you will be a 501c3 organization. So aside from an LLC, you are an actual business. And again, looking at your board of directors, some things you want to look at: individuals who's going to push the mission, who has like interest as the founder. And again, funding and sustainability. When you are starting your nonprofit, again, that opens you up to a ton of funding opportunities, such as grants at the federal level, as well as the foundation level, various donors. So when we look at St. Louis Artworks, they're doing their 30-year anniversary. Now you can bring in individual donors as well as attract corporate donors. So really that funding and sustainability, that opens your business up. Because if you're just doing an LLC, you're looking to get your profit from your sales. Okay, your community needs and assessment. So these are just some things you want to start looking at when you are setting up your nonprofit. And again, your programs and activities. So again, with the National Black Radio Hall of Fame, the programs are more or less the outreach program, the national induction ceremony. That would be an actual program that you could write. And of course, the fish fling. So we received funding from that last year. And again, once you start getting funding for these startup programs and projects, you want to continue that funding year over year to achieve, you know, whatever your funding target is. So moving from 25,000 to 50,000 up to a 300,000. Now you're getting into the $1 million type of organizational budgets. You really just want to know what your programming is and how you can scale it up to, again, increase the capacity. Okay, again, just some things you want to start thinking about because you are running a business, compliance and reporting. So when you're getting into more of your government kind of grant funding, you're going to get more awards. So you're going to be responsible for the compliance and reporting piece rather than just submitting reports for a foundational grant. Okay, so we're going to move a little bit into what a public charity is. So again, when you are starting your nonprofit, you are a public charity. And as such, your nonprofit, you're generally classed along with churches, hospitals. So again, these are the organizations you will be competing for funds. So the qualified medical research organizations. But again, as a public charity, you are just a 501c3 organization. And as such, you should have active programs of fundraising and receiving contributions from many sources. So again, this is from the IRS. So when an individual asks, how should I go about funding my nonprofit? Again, the IRS expects you to have an active program of fundraising and out receiving contributions from the general public, government agencies, corporations, public and private foundations, as well as public charities. And again, you can receive income from the conduct of your activities. And so when you have a museum that has a general admission, they are receiving income from the pursuant or the conduct of their activities. And so again, furthering your tax exempt status and purpose is the benefit of your nonprofit. So when an individual donates, they get to write that off. So again, understanding why your nonprofit exists and the benefits are important versus a public or a LLC. Okay, just real quick, we're going to talk about 10 steps here. Naming your organization. Again, knowing the correct way in which you are to do these steps here. Recruiting and organizing your board, preparing and filing your organizing documents, preparing your legal basis, preparing and filing your initial governing documents. And at times you will have to amend your articles of incorporation, conduct your regular board meetings, initial registration report with the state. And again, these are pretty much consistent. This is pretty much the Missouri, the state of Missouri standard, but these are pretty much consistent across various states. So just kind of wanted to share that and really kind of nail a little bit on these. Once you do have your registration report with the state, at this point, now you're ready to apply for your 501c3. And so, again, the organizations with St. Louis Artworks incorporated in 1995. And I believe, Mr. Hayes, we were incorporated in 2009.
Yeah, precisely.
Okay. And so, again, the date you receive your incorporation is generally your organization's birthday. And so, again, with St. Louis Artworks coming up on 30 years, there is an official date in which they were incorporated. But again, that year, you want to capture that year as a moment to, again, raise funds and increase your marketing and branding. Okay, just real quick here, these are some things here. Naming your organization. Again, you want to have a legal name. So you want to do that search So in here in Missouri, we have the Secretary of Search, State of Missouri page. And so just doing a business search, making sure that name is not being in use to avoid duplication. Again, you want to recruit and organize your board of directors. You really want to start with an active and a hungry board of directors, a board that is willing to be what's called a giving board. So that, again, that's one of the strategies there, because if you have a board in which everyone is required to give $500 as far as a giving board as our requirement, and now you have a metric to report. So we have 100% a giving board at a $500 level. So that easily translates to, if you have 10 board members, of $5,000. And that really shows buy-in, because if you want buy-in from the community, you must have it within your organization. So you want to recruit the right board members. And again, preparing and filing your organizing documents. So this is where you are looking at your articles of incorporation. So again, this brief meetup here really just talks about the steps here. We don't kind of dwell in deep here. There was a time, I think, Bernie, we had to update and amend our articles of incorporation.
Yes.
And again, time to time, you will find organizations now amending your articles of incorporation is not something you want to do every year. It's typically when something pivotal happens with your organization. So again, if there is a name change or something like that, or the purpose of your organization.
We organize the board. That's the way to do that and update that. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Right.
And we changed treasurers and we changed officers. That's why that upgrade was needed. You know.
And so again, from time to time, you will have to do that as your board and whatnot changes, and also the term limits for different board members may expire. Preparing the legal basis and documents. So again, this is the seriousness of your work here, because again, now you're setting up your business, so you need your EIN, your employment identification number. You want to establish your business banking account and services. So again, you will need that EIN number. And some banks may even want to see somewhat of a business plan or your incorporation documents. So again, just kind of knowing what's all involved in the steps. Again, that business plan and strategic plan, having that on your radar. And again, before we get off the meetup here, I have a couple of slides on AI, because again, it's almost impossible to kind of talk about development and capacity building at this stage without incorporating AI and the benefits of that. But again, just some things you want to have in place to begin operating as a business. Even though you may just be starting off, you want to have your fundraising plan, you want to have your SWOT analysis, and you want to have your memorandums of understanding and contracts and different partners, potential partners, and different things. And then preparing and filing for your initial governing documents. So again, this is your kind of like your constitution, your bylaws. So this is going to govern how your board meetings are operated. It's going to dictate your conflict of interest. So you definitely want to avoid individuals that has a self kind of serving nature about themselves. Again, if you have a board meeting or some type of event, you don't want the member of your board of directors selling their books at an event, trying to self-aggrandize themselves. Okay, real quick here. Like I said, from time to time, you will want to amend your organization, articles of incorporation. Again, I've seen organizations do it to improve their purpose, to be more in line with the IRS purpose. And I do have a slide on that. And then you want to start conducting your regular board meetings. So by law, you're supposed to have a board meeting every other month, 6 required by Missouri. But again, if you're just starting, you want to make sure you're having those regular board meetings. And again, some things here with your board meetings. And again, this is an example of a purpose here. So generally, when you do have your organization set up, your purpose is going to be the organization is organized exclusively for, it's either going to be charitable, religious, educational, and scientific. Now, I've seen charitable, education, and scientific, so minus the religious, and then more charitable and religious for churches. So again, this is when you normally amend your purpose, you want to go with this IRS kind of stated purpose. Okay, and just wrapping it up here, you want to begin to prepare and file your initial registration report. And again, this is something, and I think, Bernie, you sent me some information on this. And I know, Sabrina, we do this every year for St. Louis Artworks. And again, this is just where you're reporting to the Secretary of State, where you have your board of directors and everything is still in place. And they just want to know you're still operating as a nonprofit. And I've just seen a number of organizations fail to complete this and they fall within dissolution, and it's really just a simple report. And so yeah, you just want to make sure you are kind of just staying in compliance with filing that register, because you're going to file an initial one, and then every year around the end of October you're going to file another one. And again, failing to file this report can result in dissolution of your organization. And crawling out from dissolution is a lot of paperwork. And you really just want to avoid that by making sure you have good practice and file this registration report. Did you want to add something to that, Bernie?
No, I'm going to say we just received ours this past week. This coming week, it has to be done by the end of December. But
Right.
we just upgraded our status with the state actually in July
Okay.
because of the induction ceremonies that we had at the Renaissance Hotel. They had we were tax exempt from the IRS, but they also wanted to see a tax exempt from the state, and that's what this is for.
Okay.
Jimmy, there's a
Yeah.
question in the chat. Someone asked,
Oh, right. What form?
are you referring to? Yeah.
Okay.
Annual registration report is what you're referring to.
Right. Yes, that's the actual form. It's the annual registration report, and it's a form you find on the Secretary of State's website, and you actually can file it on that site as well and submit it. And you typically want to file that definitely before the end of December, because they kind of give you some leeway. But I believe the deadline is at the end of October. It's the annual registration report.
They said they can do it online. It's to save you time and
Right.
money if you did it
Right,
online.
yeah.
And it's very, very simple.
Right. And again, that's part of your annual compliance,
Yes.
along with filing your 990 taxes. And again, that's your next step here. And so once you file that initial report, now you want to prepare your Form 1023. And generally, you're going to do an easy form. And that really differentiates if your gross receipts are over 50,000 versus under 50,000. And generally, if a nonprofit just starting, gross receipts aren't over 50,000. So you're doing the easy form as opposed to a regular form 1023. But again, at this point, now you're getting your 501c3 tax exemption. And once this step is completed, and again, there's going to be an application fee. You're going to be able to file this online as well. Then you have your 501c3. And again, that's your 9th step. And at this point, you're tax exempt at the federal level. A quick question by Sabrina. Okay, we always get a notification right when it's due, and it is super simple to complete. And that's with that annual form. They will email you, and they do give you the updates and notices. Yeah. And so again, with your 501c3, once you complete that step, now your 10th step would be to go back to your state and get exempted at the state level, so you won't have to pay any taxes. And I believe, Bernie, we just kind of completed that step as well,
Nice.
because we didn't have much purchases. But with that tax exempt form, when you do the think of the school supplies and the back to school, where nonprofits are able to purchase things and not pay taxes on their actual purchases.
Very helpful. Very helpful. Yes.
And that's, again, one of the added benefits to being a nonprofit. But again, real quick, those 5-step life cycles, you're going to start out. So again, creating that organization, you want to make sure you're applying for exemption. You want to make sure you're maintaining your required filings. So your annual tax exempts, your reports, registration reports. And again, once you start growing your nonprofit, you may have staffing and various employment issues. So again, you want to maintain ongoing compliance, because even though you are tax exempt, you do have to pay employment taxes. And then significant events. So again, like I said, when nonprofits move from 100,000 to 350,000 on upwards to 750 to $1 million, at some point, generally around the 300,000, you're going to experience audits. And then you run where the life cycle of your nonprofit, you may actually feel your mission. And so I actually read a case where, and this was more or less getting a community to be more or less voting privileged, and they felt that they had met their goal by getting like 85% of the community registered as far as voting and voters. And so that organization really exceeded their goal, and it kind of quietly dissolved because they didn't see another need in that community for them to exist. So you may actually have to wound down your organization because you met your actual mission. But I've just seen most organizations just tend to refocus their mission and continue doing the work. So again, like I said, the last step would be to apply for your state exemption here. And again, this is where you will get your tax determination letter, and you will be exempt from all corporate taxes in the state of Missouri. And it really provides a benefit to nonprofits to help with the spending and procurement of various items and different things. Again, these are the things you'll need. That would be that form here, 1746. And so again, you just kind of want to know what you need in place. Because again, at this point, you have your 501c3 tax exempt. You're just going back to the state now with this form here to let them know that, hey, I don't want to pay taxes on my goods or professional services. Mm-hmm. Okay, that pretty much sums it up. I do have a couple of links here. Are you able to go to the slide with number 3? Let's see here. Not sure. Oh, yes, to the 3rd step. So so this was the slide here. This was the let's see your question again. Mm-hmm. So this is the slide with the number 3 step here.
You're responding to the chat room, right? You're responding to a chat.
Yes, this is a chat question here. Mm-hmm. So they were asking if I can.
Angela Thomas, yeah. Mhm.
And again, I will provide a copy of this presentation deck here with all of the with the links here. Again, I'll go ahead and close here and kind of finish up because I wanted to touch up briefly up on some AI stuff. But this is a really good resource here, DonorBox. They have some complimentary information I kind of didn't get around to, but they have a lot of the things as far as filling in the gaps, some things you should do in pursuing while you are pursuing your nonprofit, such as identifying grants, building your grants team, different fundraising strategies here. So I will include all the links here. They actually have a link for individuals outside of Missouri. They have the actual links on starting your nonprofit with the specific states. So if you're in Spokane, Washington versus Missouri, because there might be some intricacies that are a little different. So you want to just kind of pay attention to the steps there. And yeah, I definitely have the steps that are specific in Missouri. And they do have some frequently asked questions, a link on that. And again, I didn't want this to seem too much like a class, but it is really, really excellent, just really excellent. I think there was a question. Yes, the fees surrounding, let's see here, there was a question, fees surrounding 501c3 and whatnot. And so, and that kind of segued me. So, hey, I didn't mean to take us here, but this, again, with this DonorBox resources under their frequently asked questions here, and this is a good step-by-step guide too. It asks how long will it take to actually start your nonprofit. So it really gives a really sensible answer. And I like these resources because so many nonprofits utilize these resources that they just inherently have data. So they really know what they're talking about. So again, the cost here, you're going to have, and this is specific to Missouri, 25 to actually do your articles of incorporation. And again, 275 for your nonprofit. So that's your 501c3. And again, that 275 represents that short form, that form 1023 EZ. Now, again, if you do the longer form, it's going to be $600, I believe. And again, to do your annual report, that's anywhere from 20 to 45 every year. And then to submit your charitable organization registration. So again, you just kind of want to know, and these resources here. So this frequently asked questions is really, really good here. And it gives these just practical questions there. So again, that's a good question. Really quick here and wrapping it up here. Just wanted to look at some quick questions to see some essential questions that nonprofits should ask themselves. And again, I would like to thank my guest speakers here, Sabrina Silvers, St. Louis Artworks, and Bernie Hayes with the National Black Radio Hall of Fame. I am very, very glad you guys can make it. And again, I am recording this because this is a nugget here. So I kind of want to keep this and kind of use it. Okay, so in closing, I'm going to head back over here and just look at these essential questions that nonprofits should consider. So again, that who will we serve and in what capacity? And that is certainly a question you will kind of recurrently want to ask leadership, staff, volunteers. Who are we serving? Because that may actually lead to new funding sources. So if I know that I'm serving these young men, but 24% happen to be veterans, now I may be able to capture veteran dollars. So again, knowing who you serve and in what capacity is awfully critical, and it can lead to increased funding opportunities. And so again, asking why should we even pursue particular funding opportunities? Again, stability is good. You have certain mantras, all money ain't good money, and and different things like that. So, why are we even going after this money? Because if it's $10,000 and it's costing us $45,000 in sweat equity and human resources, is it really worth it? And so doing those kind of cost basis analysis. And how will we measure impact? Again, impact equals numbers. What evidence-based approaches will we adopt? Again, when you're going into evidence-based approaches and models, you're talking about extra dollars and possibly someone giving you dollars to adopt the model. Again, are we organizationally ready to conduct business at this level? Whether you're moving from, again, those different size budgets from under 25,000, 25 to 100,000. Are we ready to conduct business? Because you can't jump out with a $25,000 budget and say, well, I'm ready to go for a federal grant. Of course, that federal grant will consume that $25,000. So again, just knowing what to do. And again, as we get out of here, how does your nonprofit earn income? Again, this is how your nonprofit makes money. Contributions, so whether they're a corporate or individual. And if you're just starting your nonprofit, you want to be beating the ground, getting those individual donors going, as we say at ArtWorks, holding them up by their ankles. And you don't have to shake all the change out of them, but enough. The grants, foundations, government, and a lot of financial technology corporations now are having grant opportunities. Earned income, membership income. So if your organization doesn't have a membership component, maybe that is a way. Again, products, program service fees. Again, there should be a t-shirt for sale on your website or something, fundraising events, investment income, and in-kind support. So even if you don't have any of these, volunteer-based organizations, capturing your professional staff, board members, and different things to provide a value to your organization. Okay, so just wrapping up here, this will be provided here. These are some cheat codes for securing funds for your organizations. Definitely want to have these things in order and begin establishing your own database, your grant database. Start putting together those fundable opportunities, those winning grants and whatnot. And as I promised, use AI, leverage AI. If AI can go through, and I had one time AI went through and sorted through 90 grants, and I wanted to find which one were more suitable for youth development. It did that like in 6 seconds. So that saved me like 6 days of work. So utilize AI to do that repetitive work so you can lean into that work that is the core mission of your organization. So these are some things AI can assist you with: that business plan, identifying costs, developing and maintaining an efficient tracking system, and really those repetitive tasks that allow you to focus on the core mission and focus of your work, which is whatever your mission statement is, driving that home. Okay, that's pretty much it. This is just a kind of use case model here. You can prompt your AI to, again, research funders, have it outline your proposals, have it conduct what we call an A/B test, see which version of proposal or fundraising letter gets more hits or email opens. and then you want to go with that email, and then have your AI draft a budget, actually export that budget to Google Sheets, and then email you the best version of it in the morning. And so it's working while you are doing other things to, again, move the needle on your nonprofit. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Again, I'd like to thank Ms. Silvers and Mr. Hayes here. Again, my business, Block Cheese, pretty much just help organizations and businesses connect to funding and different things. Any closing words?
I would like to say thank you for the invitation. And don't forget now, 501c3 also helps you with mailing and so forth. Bulk mail.
Oh, yeah.
It's tax deductible and from the postal services and
Right.
so many other things that the 501c3 can do, especially for donors, tax deductible. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot of benefits.
I just want to say thank you for inviting me.
You are so welcome. Thank you so much for all of the excellent knowledge you have shared and imparted with us. And again, congratulations on the success of the National Black Radio Hall of Fame, and as well as the 30th anniversary of the St. Louis Artworks.
Congratulations.
Jimmy, for the invitation. Continue getting paid, and nugget funders, community collaboration are key, and a lot of funders are for.
You're kind of breaking up at the end, Sabrina. I heard the funders and support, and then you went kind of.
I can't hear it all.
Okay, but wish you all much success in all of what you're doing.
Now I can hear you. Thank you, Sabrina.
Thank you so much. And I would like to thank everyone for joining the meetup this month. And again, I will circle back and provide the presentation deck as well as all other resources and web links that I didn't get a chance to go over. Again, it's an impactful meeting, typically 30 to 45 minutes, engaging, and an opportunity to meet interesting people on the up and up and just share ideas. So again, I'd like to thank everyone, and have a great rest of your week, everyone. Thanks so much.
And send out that invitation to our anniversary party. We're celebrating.
Right.
Well, thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Bernie.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.